even 8 a.m. I've already had to reheat my coffee. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's garden tour. Today we're actually starting inside because I've started seeds for fall already. Alright, so if you watched my video from Monday, it's me making a grow light, and this is obviously not the grow light I had made. These are two longer grow lights. And the reason is that I switched it is purely just because I was looking on Amazon the other day and these came up and were on sale for a really good deal, that it was actually cheaper to get these. They came in a pack of 6, so my mother-in-law took some too. So yeah, it was cheaper to get these, so I figured, hey, I still have the receipt, I can return the stuff from the other grow light, and then I've got these ones. But I still think it's a good video to keep up, because whether you do the shop light way or the way where you just get a grow light bulb, it's still significantly cheaper than buying a grow light at like Home Depot. But anyway, so that's the update with the grow lights. But here are all my seedlings, and you can see some of them sprouted so fast, like before I could get my grow lights, so they're really leggy. I think there's still a couple more seeds though that are going to pop up. So as other ones pop up, like this one, I put like 4 in there and there's only 1. So once someone else sprouts, I will pull that guy out. In case you didn't watch that video, I'm growing Brussels sprouts, spinach, cauliflower, broccoli, and these are the dragon tongue bush beans. I had to try those because I feel like everyone is talking about them this year, and so I thought, hey, I gotta get me some of those. Okay, let's head out to the actual garden. Gotta love that 8 a.m. sun. Alright, here she is. So we got a good rain yesterday, about ½ an inch, which is pretty good for this year. First and foremost, the sunflowers are all just, I swear every day, look, every day there's more sunflowers. And the bees are just loving them. They come out every day to somebody working. Let's just watch this guy for a sec. So nice. That multicolored one just bloomed today. That wasn't there yesterday. We have been getting lots of tomatillos. I can't even get this whole thing in a shot. They're getting so big. Look at him. And this one isn't even as big as the one in the other bed, which is crazy. And like this dipladenia, we had a big thunderstorm last week, and then it was really hot like right after, and this thing has just freaked out. Oh, I can't get over it. It's so beautiful. We had a new pest introduced this week. I actually don't see any right now. It's funny because they're called potato beetles because they like potatoes, but when I googled it, it said they like potatoes and tomatoes, but their favorite is tomatillos. I seriously don't know how to say that, guys. Tomatillos, tomatillos, I have no idea. But that's where I found them. They're not on my tomatoes. There's not too much damage, so I'm not super worried about them. I just spray it with neem oil once in a while. My zucchini just refuses to take off. I keep getting flowers and then they shrivel up and die. And I think it's because the cucumber beetles, so I've now ripped out everything that the cucumber beetles kind of got to, and I feel like they've moved over to this guy. We came and looked around last night and it was covered in cucumber beetles, so we sprayed it with neem. But peppers are doing fabulous. We just get more and more peppers every day. Like, look at this guy, loaded. This one. Also has a couple purple ones. Oh, I think they all have, at this point, well, maybe not this guy. There's one. At this point, every single pepper, topped or not topped, has at least one fully formed pepper or like a bud. Like that one right in the middle doesn't have a fully formed pepper, I don't think, but it has buds that are like just starting. Also, my not topped ones, I've never had peppers grow this tall before, so that's pretty exciting. The beans. So literally just the last couple days we've started to get beans. Look at them going up and over. I need to get up on a ladder and train those to go over to here. It's super cool. Like, this is starting to be my dream from this trellis. Don't mind the bug traps. Like, my word, it's so pretty. And we've started getting beans. If you look up, they're just everywhere. There's some beans. There's some beans in there. They're just everywhere. But I don't know if you can see. You see there? There are some Japanese beetles sitting up there. I can see them. I thought that I had gotten rid of all the Japanese beetles, but I'm just starting to see them again, hiding up in the top of my bean plants. Probably this evening, once after the heat of the day cools off, I'm gonna go up there and go to town with some neem oil spray. The neem oil works really well on the Japanese beetles if you get them before it's a full infestation. Like, I'll see one or two and then I'll just douse the plants that are around in neem oil and then they're gone. So, and then, like, you know, a couple weeks later another one will pop up. But neem oil, guys, if you have a garden and you don't have neem oil, you need to change that because it's not that expensive and it's great. I literally just got like a bottle, like it looks like an essential oil bottle with a dropper, and I put, it ends up being like half a tablespoon. It's like 5 full droppers in a 16-ounce bottle with water, and I'll put a little bit of Murphy's oil soap in there too, just to help bind the water with the oil, and it works really well. So, pro tip. It's been working for me. The cucumbers are out. I believe I showed this last week. But what we did last night is we finally got to treat the soil with nematodes. So I ordered them and I saw it was going to rain, so I just waited until after it rained so the soil was all evenly wet, and then we applied them. So hopefully those work because I'm getting ready to start fall planting. Actually, I've already started some fall planting. My red onions, I don't know if you can even see them. They're not doing the super best. I think my red onions have sort of stopped because there are a few times where I didn't get to water the garden, or I was at the cottage and the tomatillos just like fall when they're dry, and they just totally, or this one just totally smushed all of my onions. Like, none of them have a straight up and down stem, and so I think that happened 2 or 3 times, and I think that's kind of wrecked them. So we'll just wait and see. It's no harm. Something I forgot to show, I did, you can see, oh, that's not part, but 1, 2, 3. So I planted beets. I started my beets for fall. And what I'm going to do is, because the peppers and the tomatoes will be in for a while. Like my summer garden and my fall garden are gonna have to overlap because my growing season is short. So what I did in my plan, I reworked my plan, is I'm planting beets around the bases of my peppers. So in each corner, like if you think of it in like a square foot gardening, the peppers are right in the middle of each square foot. And so in each corner of the square foot, I'm putting a cluster of 3 beets. And my gardener made a video about grouping beets into clusters of 3 and how they don't actually crowd each other out and they kind of grow away from each other. So I thought that would be perfect for putting in around my peppers because I can put them in the groups of 3, so each square foot still gets like 12. And by the time they're like big enough that they'll need that space in the very center, I'll be able to pull out the peppers. I'll either pull them out or cut them down to the root. So I did that. I also put in my noodle bean seeds where the peas and the cucamelons were. So all along here and along here is filled with noodle beans. And I just planted those yesterday. Noodle beans actually take much longer to come to maturity than regular beans, which I didn't know because I didn't look into that. And so I should have started them sooner. But whatever, what do you do? I had tons of seeds in the seed packet. It's funny because it says minimum of 25 seeds. I swear I have 60 seeds in that seed packet. So I figured I'll throw them in, and if I don't get any, I'll learn and I'll change it for next year. But I'm really excited. I think if they take the full amount of time they need to mature, they'll be maturing like the end of October, which, to be fair, here I could get them. Like, we could maybe not get frost till the beginning of December, but we also could get frost the second week of September, so who even freaking knows? Welcome to Canada. Cheers. All of my tomatoes are doing really well. Not actually, there is some stuff to show. So my San Marzanos are getting big. Like, this is the biggest San Marzano I've ever grown. I always remembered them being small, but they're getting big. They love this. And look at my cherry tomato plant is freaking loaded, and they're getting way beyond the post I put in. I'm actually tempted to put in a second one because both of them, look, there's the other one. All my tomatoes are way too tall for their posts. I did find yesterday, this is really exciting. Check this out. Ah, my first red tomato. So he's not quite ready, but that's really exciting. Hello. Something I put in this week is this guy. So this actually was a second leader that came off of this homestead tomato plant. It had grown from here. I guess I trimmed a branch thinking it was a sucker and left the sucker. And so it grew, and it was coming up and over this basil plant. So I saw it in the morning and thought, oh, I need to stake that. It's getting way too big. But I didn't have any stakes on hand, so I was gonna text my husband to bring home a piece of wood from work. He's a carpenter, so all this comes from work. Before I could even text him, it just got really windy that afternoon and it broke off. So I thought, hey, I'll just try cloning it, and I stuck it in. I made a video on cloning tomatoes, so you can see me planting that. It's not coming out this Monday. This Monday I'm putting out a collab of the good, the bad, and the ugly from my garden, which will be really fun. I'm filming that either this afternoon or tomorrow. And the cloning video will come out the following Monday. So if you want to see me planting that, go ahead. I was really nervous that it wasn't going to make it because it is like super big. Let me show you again. That's a very large sucker to try and clone, and I even chopped some off the bottom of it. So it even has like fruit on it and a fluff. Like, it has plenty of fruit and it had flowers. So I wasn't anticipating it would actually survive the transplant. But after yesterday's storm, it's actually perking up, which is really exciting. Look at how big this guy is. Like, I thought, oh, I'll put it at the end of the bed and it can kind of spill over. Like, yeah, it is. And it's also just going everywhere. So I feel like next year if I grow tomatillos, I'm not even going to grow them in the beds. I'm going to grow them in containers. I think that's what I'm going to do, because it's just like so much space in such a small bed. But if you haven't grown them before, see how there's husks on the ground? That's how you know it's ready. Hopefully this isn't full. There, boom. Really cute. I love them. They're really delicious. So I introduced my family to tomatillos this week, because we don't, like, you can't get those at the grocery store, and they're all obsessed. So I had to warn them not to pick them off the plant, but to wait for them to fall. Every time my dad comes over, he's like, goes straight to it. We've got lots of pretty blooming zinnias. My oregano plant is flowering, which I really should cut it back. I know this, I said this last time. Pull that out. It's just so pretty. Okay, so this sunflower, look, is like probably 18 inches taller, maybe even 2 feet taller than the pergola at this point. It's just ginormous, and I don't think it's even flowering yet. Like, it's still got way more to go, so that's hilarious. I'm excited to see, which makes me wonder about this guy who's inside the trellis. Hopefully he's one of these ones that don't get as tall. They're meant to be cutting flowers, so they don't get as tall, or else we're gonna have a dilemma. Another really exciting thing that happened this week is we finally set up the shade cloth. So you can see that I've put up posts. Oh, and my lights! I put up my lights! They're so pretty. I will insert here a picture of my garden at night. It's not the best picture, but like, we've got little lights going around the, like, underneath. Could you imagine if that was totally covered in like bean plants or whatever greenery, and then the twinkle lights underneath? Oh my gosh, it'd be so pretty. But we've got these, I can't see, we've got these strings of lights that we put up, and we put up the shade cloth. So I don't know if the sun's gonna help me. We've got put a post in each corner, and then we put it over top of the tomatoes and the peppers, and it worked so well. My peppers are thrilled. My tomatoes are so happy. So that was just such a good thing that happened this week. The flower box is still the same. I have been leaving these empty. I think I'm gonna maybe get a bag of compost just to sort of amend this window box a little bit before I put stuff in. We gotta squeeze. But in the next probably week or two, I'll be putting lettuce back into this window box. And look, my little radishes, they're starting to come up. Getting bigger and bigger. Okay, so that is the most exciting things that have happened this week in the garden. Finally starting to see a little bit of harvest. The tomatoes are just starting to turn, and I'm sure next week will be even more exciting. But yeah, I'm really happy with where my garden is right now. Even with the Japanese beetles coming back and everything, I'm feeling a lot more confident now because I have an idea of what to do. You know, that's gardening, right? Especially when you're not using chemicals or anything, you're gonna come across pests. and it's fine. It's totally fine. So that's everything. Thank you for hanging out with me again this week. It was a pleasure to have you in my garden. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope your garden is looking absolutely beautiful. I'll see you again next week or on Monday. Bye!